Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vibe Show. My name is Vasil. I'll be your host for today. And with us, we have a very special guest, a very intelligent man who I know all the way from first year, also a fantastic friend. Please welcome Youssef Haidar.
Hello, everyone.
Youssef, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm fine. I'm just trying to pull through the quarantine thing. It's pretty hectic, and you're just hoping for a vaccine at this point. But we're pulling through. We're all in this together.
Oh, definitely. A lot of research advancements have been made, and after all,
Yeah,
companies are going to be competing.
yeah. Tell me about it. I invested in several of those companies, and oh boy, I was right.
Well, that's good.
Uh,
So, tell us
that's
about what you study and where you study.
I'm a fourth year biological chemistry student. I go to University of Toronto Mississauga campus, and biological chemistry is one of those sciences where it integrates biology and chemistry together. The thing about biological chemistry, it's really different from biochemistry. Whereas in biochemistry, it's more biology oriented. You take crazy tons of bio courses and probably a little bit of chemistry. Where in biological chemistry, it's more chemistry oriented. So I've been throughout my 4 years in university, I've done way more chemistry courses than biology courses. I did like about what, 3 biology courses, and it's really interesting. I'm really passionate about it at the very least.
That's amazing. So, your program is mainly chemistry oriented, is that right?
Yeah, that's what I'm pretty saying, pretty
That's
much.
amazing. Man, we're like the opposites. I went to the guidance counselor the other day, and they told me, son, you're taking way too much bio courses. Like, you gotta take it easy.
Yeah,
So,
workload wise, I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie, chemistry is really one of those tough subjects. Not everyone like it, and a lot of aspects. There's chemistry is this interdisciplinary field where you get to learn about physics, you get to learn about biology, and chemistry is really the central science where you can integrate pretty much everything. Like I have friends who are doing geology in UTM, and they're doing geochemistry, which is really interesting, or environmental chemistry. What I like about chemistry more than bio is you don't need to memorize anything. As long as you understand everything, you're golden. And by the time you're third or fourth year, most of the stuff comes to you intuitively because you really have this solid, strong background from second and first year. So, I mean, it is really tough in first and second year, especially in second year. I remember my second year was being hell because I had to take 5 chemistry courses: analytical chemistry,
wow.
organic chemistry 1, organic chemistry 2, and thermodynamics. Those are pretty much all the disciplines of chemistries out there, and they were pretty hectic for a second year. But by the time I was in third year, I already had the solid background of second year and fourth year, and most of my courses are mostly medicinal chemistry oriented. So in UTM, we have this thing where by fourth year, you can either go to plant biochemistry or go into the medicinal chemistry field or the bioanalytical chemistry field. I choose the medicinal chemistry field because, hey, it's the most relevant today.
Lots of respect, my brother. What inspired you to go into this field?
Actually, as a matter of fact, he was my first year TA. I don't know if she's hearing me, but like she actually gave me the passion for the subject.
She must be
I
proud.
remember going to first year labs. Yeah, I remember going to first year's labs, and I was like pretty stressed, pretty scared. But she would just go comfort everyone. She would explain the labs, every step of the lab, step by step. It was very beautiful. She had this thing about her, like so comforting, if what I mean. And by the time I finished the first year or first portion of the first year chem lab, I was, damn, man, I really liked it. And on the other hand, also we had this chemistry professor, Judith Bowie. She actually, she triggered like a passion for chemistry to me, because chemistry. She always comes to the class. She gives relevant topics, and like I remember one time in first year, she just comes into the lab. She draws 2 almost identical molecular structures, and then she says, "You know how chemistry is accurate? Look at those 2 molecular structures." you'd see they're both identical, but as a matter of fact, one is crack cocaine and the other is just regular cocaine. I was like, holy shit, it is really, really, it's really interesting. Uh, and I always found like chemistry always captivated me, even in high school. I always found chemistry really, really interesting. So there's always this catalyst for me in high school that I want to pursue something that is chemistry related. Um, Also, I think a big part of it is also me watching Breaking Bad, seeing this guy manufacturing or synthesizing crystal meth. I was like, holy shit, I want to do the same. I want to do the same thing.
Legally,
And
legally.
honestly, uh, so there's always indisposable income. If you go into chemistry, you can always go and deviate or
Into
do some
synthesizing
crazy stuff.
crystal meth.
Exactly.
So is that your
So
long-term
yeah,
plan, or what are your plans overall? Like short-term, long-term? You mentioned
so
medicinal.
yeah, so obviously everyone, like almost everyone who came to University of Toronto for life sciences, almost wanted to go to med school. And I don't know, maybe this have become so redundant, but med school here is so hard. By the time I was in second year, I realized, well, med school is just not for me. I'm gonna spend almost like 20 years in school before getting reliable income, and chances of me getting accepted in medical school was very, very slim. So me, I being so worried and stressed out about my future, I was like, okay, let me go for the next good plan, which was pharmacy school for me. So yes, I am going to something that is chemistry related, but at the same time integrates a lot of physiology or a lot of the medical component. So my long-term plan is hopefully is going into pharmacy school, where I want to do research in a very important, not very specific field of pharmacy. It's called drug discovery and drug docking, which I'm currently doing research in as a biochemistry student, but it is really what I want to do. Just me out there synthesizing medications, or even discovering drugs for some disease out there. So yes, my long-term plans is mostly research. Mm.
For students who are entering their first year, what advice would you find to be the most beneficial? Like, what
Yeah,
advice would you give yourself entering university
first year.
in
So
chemistry?
basically, as I was saying, if you were going to life sciences, think again. Do you really want to study biology for 4 years and then go to a medical school? Because chances are you're not going to medical school. Let's face it. I don't want to crush your hopes or dreams or anything, but the selection process is brutal. And out of every 1,000 life sciences student, maybe one or two make it to medical school. There was a year in UTM where no person from UTM actually made it to medical school. I think it was last year.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Not a single
So
person.
not a single person made it to UFT medical school. I'm not sure if they made it to other medical schools, but chances are they didn't. If I went back in time, I wouldn't even choose biochemistry or chemistry or that field. I would honestly chose engineering. But let's say you're already in first year, you already uh, accepted your offer from UTM and you're going for life sciences. Don't get discouraged. You can always make it to med school. But however, always, always, always have backup plans. For instance, I actually made it to, or I'm actually planning on going to pharmacy school. And what a lot of people don't realize, there's a lot of professional schools after life sciences. There's paramedics. Paramedics are actually one of the professional careers out there not everyone knows about, and it's really, really, really rewarding. You can, and some paramedics actually study 6 years. They spend 6 years in schooling, and they have so much knowledge at this point that they can actually go to the emergency room and help doctors. You can always be a nurse. There's lab science. Uh, Lab sciences, there's plenty of, what was it called? A postgraduate diploma, where you actually finish your bachelor degree and go to a college and get something that is 2 years certificate, let's say for genetic engineering, or there's this college in UFC called Missioner Institute. It offers a variety of professional degrees. Even there's this degree where my dad, my dad actually studied there, and it is really called cardiovascular perfusion. It is really, really rewarding. You're not a doctor at this point, but you actually go to the ER, you actually hook up patients to machines, uh, and it's really rewarding. The starting salary is $100,000. So medical school should be your end goal, but keep in mind that there's a lot of options other than medical school. For me, I'm a person who likes research, obviously. And so when you're in second year, just go and look for professors who are accepting undergraduate researchers. So with me, I had a very low GPA by my third year. I had like a 3.28. And then I just start knocking on doors. Literally, that's all what I did. Went doctor by doctor and start knocking on their doors, asking for them if they needed undergraduate researchers. And then I was so lucky enough that the doctor I really want to do research with accepted me, and he gave me what is it called? More of a probationary period. He told me, okay, you can volunteer in the lab for and see how that go. And I think I impressed him or something like that. So I'm still with him. I'm still working with him. So always find a research opportunity. Just impressive in your resume. And a lot of programs at U of T actually requires you to do research. At least I know that my program requires me to do that. The University of Toronto is a research university. There isn't much emphasis on industry, but there's a lot of emphasis on academia. So for instance, the professor I'm doing research, I've collaborated with a professor who actually won the Nobel Prize.
Wow.
Yeah, just that's awesome, and
That's like
the
the very
equipment, the
top.
kind of yeah. So U of T have very top professors who are doing research, and the equipment we have on campus is just baffling. The NMR equipment, uh, there's one room in the Mississauga campus, 4 NMRs. They're stacked side by side. Each NMR would cost $5 million. So that room alone is worth $25 million of equipment.
What room
There's
is
a
that?
lot of options. It is very, very rewarding career. Like, going into research. For instance, one of my backup plans is going to master's. I really like chemistry to a point where I'm willing to actually spend the rest of my lives just researching, getting a PhD or a postdoc or whatever. So yes, just go in mind that research is extremely important in UFT. Just know what you want. Biology, be it you want to do physics, be it you want to do chemistry. Medical school doesn't care what kind of degree you have. You can have a degree in economy and women and gender studies, as long as you fulfill the requirements, it's all good. So don't just restrict yourself with biology. There's this amazing program in Guelph University called Food Sciences, and food science is one of those applied chemistry programs where they actually train you to conduct some experiments on how safe the food is, how to analyze the calories in the food and stuff like that. The starting salary of scientists in the States who have a degree in food sciences starts from $100,000. So
This is
just
not bad.
yeah, so just that's the starting salary. Just have in mind there's a lot of options. A lot of people I've known saying, well, life sciences is a degree that won't get you anywhere. It will. But you have to study more. That's basically what I'm saying. You have to advance yourself. I know people who just graduated from life sciences, they don't want to pursue studying or biology anymore. So they got a job, they got themselves a job in the bank industry or even the insurance industry. They worked for 2 years and they went back and got an MBA. What they did after that, they actually got a job. They got themselves a job in corporate. So life sciences is really not that a bad degree. It's actually rewarding. Just know what you want from first year. And first year is really one of those toughest years. Like honestly, I think first year screwed us up the most. You'd go there, you'd be lost. You don't know what's happening. Everything is new. You don't have friends there. You're sitting in a lecture hall. Everyone is a stranger around you. Some of the professors are not so nice. So most of them are not, and
Yeah, you get
you'd
lost
be just
everywhere.
yeah, you'd be lost everywhere. You're used to you're used to the way or your studying style in high school, which is really different. In high school, you could have studied a day or two before the exam or the test. In university, you gotta stay over on the top of your work, study every day, study lecture by lecture. And by the time you realize that, unfortunately, you'd be in second or third year. And that's the biggest obstacle. I used to have a high school teacher who told me once you actually finish first year, congratulations, you're in the degree. So yes, first year is the year that actually weeds out people. And there's a lot of classes that weeds out people on purpose. There's Chem 110, 120 in UTM. In 110, the turnout rate or the failure rate for Chem 110 was astronomical. I think more than 200 students failed Chem 110 out
It's
of a
crazy.
thousand. So it's like a 20%. Uh, life science, calculus. Oh my God, calculus was the worst course I've taken so far. At the beginning of the year for calculus, there was 1,000 students enrolled in the class. By the end, when people were doing finals, it was only 200 students.
200.
So
So that's 80%
200.
just gone.
There's 80% gone, and the stupid thing about UTM, if you want to pursue life sciences, you gotta have this calculus course. And even for me, too bad for me, if you want to pursue a career in chemistry, you gotta have at least a 70% in calculus. So not only that you pass calculus, you gotta get a B in calculus. And probably calculus is hard everywhere. Like it's not only in UTM. If you go to McMaster, if you go to let's say Waterloo, calculus is the toughest, hands down, the toughest first year course out there. But as long as you pass first year, you're fine. First year is the hardest. I agree.
Yeah, definitely. So, see everybody. So if you pass your first year, that's it. You're gonna be
Yeah,
successful in whatever you do. That's
yeah,
great.
exactly. And just I want to emphasize on this point is that you don't actually have to go into life sciences to get into medical school or pharmacy for that matters. You can do a major in economics and then just take the prerequisites, just really few courses for med school, and then just apply. I mean, as a matter of fact, I don't know if that's true or not, but when I first went to the Frosh, uh, one of my Frosh leaders was like, she was fourth year molecular biology at that time. She was like, it was so weird that almost most of the medical students who got accepted in that year, they were in economics major students. They're not even biology students. So if I was a first year and I knew that, I wouldn't even went to life sciences. I would have applied for finance and went the finance route and took maybe a few biology courses on the side. Another advice for first year students, uh, go to Frosh. Frosh is the place. I know there's COVID pandemic right now, but I'm hoping that people will see this video years from now. And one of my biggest advice to them, go to Frosh. Frosh is hands down the only place where you meet people, the place where you actually get to meet people. Uh, and there would be like 1,000 student there and people from all fields. I met a lot of good friends from Frosh, and they're still friends with me. Arguably, friends you meet at Frosh, they're gonna stick with you throughout the rest of your university career or university degree. Um, Also, one thing, the office of the registrar. Do not go to the office of the registrar. They are
Do
useless.
not.
They are useless. Academic advisors, they don't know what the hell they're going. First of all, those people they didn't even graduate from University of Toronto, so they're not really uh, they don't really know much about the programs offered in UTM. They pretty much have a script and they follow the script. And one of the things that I found really funny when I was in first year, I was one of those kind of stressed guys. So I would go to the advisors every day. And what I found funny that every academic advisor would give me a different advice that are contradicting. I'd go to this advisor and he would tell me, well, take this course, but I would go to the other advisor and like, why are you taking this course? It's not useful. Don't take
So
it.
leaves you even more confused
Which is
in the
leaving
end.
you more confused. Exactly. You want to go for academic, advice? Go to the professors. Yes, professor, you might be shy, you might be very stressed out in first year, but professors are hand down the most, you can get the most valuable advice from them. Even you can go on UTM website, search out for your program advisor. So for every program, there's a program advisor. So even if you're in first year and you're not enrolled in a program yet, you can just shoot an email to the program you want or to the advisor of the program you want and tell them you want to set a meeting. And you can get academic advice straight from them. What a lot of people don't realize that in UTM, there's freedom for wiggling. So they're not really, a lot of people say they're strict, but from my experience, they're not really strict. There's always room for wiggling. Like, let's say you wanted 1 or 2 or 3 marks to get into your post. You can go and sign a petition. And they're reasonable people. They would see, well, we cannot, like, just deny him admission for 3 marks. It happens with people I know. Uh, Even there's this amazing thing, the credit or no credit, which saved us. People, if you're struggling in first year courses that you don't really need, like let's say sociology or psychology and you're pursuing a career in biology, you don't need those courses. Credit or no credit them. Do not impact your GPA. Your GPA is probably what determines your value. And I hate to say it, but that's how it works in UTM.
That's how
When you
they
go to
look
a
at it.
professor, yeah, when you go to a professor and ask him for a research opportunity, the first question is going to be, what's your GPA? Your GPA is probably what determines your value. I'm sorry to say that, but it is. Nurture it. Your GPA is probably very important.
Yusuf, you've given us a lot of honest and realistic advice, which I
Yeah,
appreciate, and I'm sure this is more helpful than sugarcoating everything and saying life is so easy and
nice.
straightforward.
Pretty much. What ruined me mostly was people sugarcoating it for me. Most people saying, well, medical school, they're making things so much easier. So when I first got into UTM, I knew a lot of my friends who went to UTM as well, and they were like struggling, really struggling with their work, and they would tell me it's easy, like just stay on the top of your work and it'd be fine. I realized that's not the case. On the other hand, don't get discouraged from what I'm saying. If you really had the determination to go into medical school, go for it. But realize that it is hard. It is hard. It is way hard. Just have other options for your sake. Go to medical schools in the States, in the Caribbean, in Ireland.
Yusuf,
That
tell us, is it okay if I would post some of your social media in the description if any of our viewers would like to
Sure,
contact
go
you?
ahead. What I'm doing is I'm actually pretty much doing this paying it forward thing. It's from the movie. I don't know if you watched this 90s movie, where you pretty much help someone and you ask that someone to help 2 others, and and you're just paying it forward, right? So
Like a pyramid.
what I'm doing right now, just if you're worried about anything, just contact me. If you're really into chemistry and you're in high school, just contact me. I'd be happy to help, even if you're a total stranger. It, I love helping people. I mean, you know, it's tough. In first year, it's really tough, and it's really useful to have people in fourth year, guiding you, to telling you what courses to take, what courses that are horrible, what professors to avoid. Because, oh boy, you need people to know how the professors think. You know, and probably what made me survive through first year was people, third or second year people that I knew and told me what professors to avoid.
Well, yeah, that's useful, especially for people going to UTM. They can have a heads up
Exactly.
on just the types of lecture delivery.
Yeah, and sometimes what I realize is, even if those advice can be from the upper year students could be very useful. But what I realize, everyone has their own preferences. So let's say a course that has more than 2 professors. Sometimes I'd like one professor, but you'd find them very bad. It happens, and happened with me. People were giving me advice left and right, and sometimes I'd say, they tell me this professor is bad, this professor doesn't know how to teach, and I would go into the class and I'm like, damn, this professor is probably one of the best. It just depends on your preferences. Honestly, from what I experienced as well, first year wasn't that a problem. Most professors were good. We had this amazing angel of a professor. I don't know, biology, you remember? Like 152,
Professor Rall.
Raw. Yeah, exactly. I liked her. So we also had Bowie. I like Bowie. I consider her my angel.
Two great
Uh,
teachers.
Great teacher. Uh, it is really, really, really first year, like it is amazing for professors wise. Workload wise, it's not that much.
Yeah, that comes later on. Uh,
It comes later on. Yeah, yeah. Gotta prepare.
well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
sharing your experiences, for giving this amazing advice. I'm sure people will find it helpful right now and in the future years to come. I'll leave your contacts in the description, and I'm sure that you will be successful in whatever you choose to pursue, whether it is pharmacy. Our hopes are high, and we wish you the best.
Thanks, bud. Same to you.
Hello, everybody. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Please leave us a like, subscribe, and I really, really look forward to seeing you next time. Love y'all and take care.